Hey there. It is a very dreary Friday here. I guess it's April 5th, isn't it? We're already into April. I live in Pittsburgh, so we talk a lot about the dreary weather, or we try to ignore it. um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the back of your book today. We talk a lot about the front because that's the first thing that people see. So if you're doing an event or you're live somewhere and you're holding up your book, that's what you're showing people. But there has to be something after that. And what is it that people do once they see the cover of your book? If they see something and they go, ooh, this looks like a good title. This is a really attractive cover. Maybe this is something that is for me. It resonates with them. Then they're going to pick it up and flip it over and read a little bit about this book and figure out, hey, is this really something I want to pursue? So that's the second thing that they're looking at. So you have to have something really compelling on the back. So usually a business book ends up being about 6 by 9. That's a standard size. You might be working with a slightly smaller size though if you want to do something to make your book have a little bit more pages if you need to do it that way. Some people do a 5 by 8, but I have two 6 by 9 covers that I wanted to share with you today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what's on the back. So a 6 by 9 cover isn't very big. You want to make a big impact with that little bit of space that you have. So I want to share a couple of my clients' works. So this is Melanie Calusi's book, From Startup to Success. And you can see the front looks really, really nice. So she's got the, kind of hard to see with the, okay, there we go. So she's got, she's got a it is incredibly difficult to try to do this mirrored because everything's flipped backwards in the camera. So she has like a little path here, like you're navigating this path, and then you have the mountains in the background. So I really like the cover that she picked. And she has a great title for this book. So someone might grab this and go, oh, hey, I'm starting a business, or I'm a couple of years in and I'm struggling. Maybe I need to check on my foundation. This looks like it would be a good book for me. Let's see what it says on the back. So when you look at the back of her book, you can see she has her title up at the top, and then she has a little description here that is a great plug for her book. She has some really good marketing copy. So it's not just standard, hey, this book is about blah, 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 blah. Whenever you're doing this, it's not like a book report. You want it to be good marketing copy that's going to draw people in and make them go, ooh, that person knows what my problems are, and that person can help me solve them. So on her book, she talks a little bit, the first word on here is ladies. This book is actually geared toward women business owners. So she says right up front who she wants to work with this book. This is, if a man picks this book up, he might go, oh, yeah, probably not for me. So he would read, or he or she, whoever picks this up, is going to read it, and they'll be able to see this is a little bit about, it says, ladies, if you want to start a business or you're a little unsure of the path with your new brand, then the name of the book is just what you need to cut through the confusion and get on the road to happy, successful business ownership. So she tells you exactly what she wants to accomplish with this book, and I have read this book several times because I worked with her as a coach and editor. So I assure you, she does meet that expectation. But that very first paragraph, if somebody is reading that and they don't say, oh, hey, this is for me, they might not keep reading. People don't have a ton of time, especially if they're at an event and they want to go around to different tables and check everything out. So she says right up front who this book is for and what the purpose of the book is. And then we go into a little bit less deep, or a little bit deeper details here. Melanie guides you through the initial steps of starting your business, talking to you like your best friend would, explaining this, alleviating that, and nudging you in the right direction. So she tells you, these are the things that I'm doing in this book. What we went with on this particular book was what you would refer to in journalism as a reverse pyramid. So you start at the very top. So, a reverse pyramid, again, with the camera angles here. Okay, so a reverse pyramid is going to be really wide up here at the top and really narrow at the bottom. So this wide part up here is your base, but it's flipped upside down. So you want it first. Your base, your foundation, the main points, the stuff that's really going to attract people in. You want that at the top. And then you can go down through and give details in order of importance from most to least. So that's what we did on hers. we talk a little bit about, don't take advice from a friend, or don't do it alone. Don't take advice. Don't do it alone. Take advice from a friend who's been in business over 20 years and has learned from her mistakes and achievements. So that is the whole thing here at the top. It's a great hook. It's a great way to draw people in. I love using that structure for the back of the book. And then we actually have two testimonials on the back of the book. And I love using that on the back of your book because that shows, hey, somebody's read this and they found it really helpful for their own business. So we have two on here. And I was actually talking to someone the other day who wanted to reach out to someone about doing some testimonials. And it was somebody a little bit above her in her field, but she had connected with her. She's worked with her as a coach. And I said, go ahead and ask her now if she would do that. And then once you have a pretty solid draft, send it to her, tell her, hey, this hasn't been to the editor yet, but this is my draft that I'm sending. If you could read it through and give me a testimonial, I'd really appreciate it, and I'll get you a copy once it comes out. You can do that if you feel comfortable asking somebody, especially if you have a relationship with them. They'll be much more willing to give you a testimonial. And then, when somebody sees, oh, hey, this person read this book and they approve of it, then you're getting that effect where, I know this person, I've heard of them and I like them, I will probably like this book. So that's another good way to do your testimonials. And then we have a little wrap up here at the end. If a successful business is your dream, then you need this quick read guide for setting up your business, and we talk a little bit about that. It's a very quick, short, punch at the end. Yes, you really need this book if you really want to accomplish your dreams. So that's how we did. Wow, reflection of light. That's how we did the back on Melanie's book, and I think it's a very effective structure. I really like how we handled this one. And of course, you'll have a barcode on the back of your book and your ISBN. Good grief, can I figure out this camera thing? Okay, the ISBN. Whenever you publish a book, you have to have an ISBN, and that's a totally different topic we'll talk about another time. But you have to make sure that you or your cover artist, I'm just gonna tap it, you or your cover artist, your graphic artist, whoever you work with, has space for the ISBN, or for the barcode, because it has to be on the back of the book for you to be able to sell it. Okay, so that's Melanie's. I also wanted to talk a little bit about Matt Coletti's. So we worked on his, and it came out last summer. First 15, the morning routine that took me from barely surviving to living the dream. You can see Matt decided to have a headshot on the cover of his, and it's absolutely not necessary. Melanie went with not doing hers, but Matt's journey actually makes sense to have his. I felt like it was really important because he went from being an alcoholic to actually being a fitness guru. So, having him on there dressed in workout clothes, ready to seize the day, I thought that was an important thing to include on the cover. And this cover was actually designed by my friend Karen Capteline, and she does some really cool work. So I always send people to her. But if you know a graphic artist, or you know somebody else who does book covers, talk to them about what you are thinking about for your cover, and let them kind of guide you on what's good, what's not good, that sort of stuff. So this is what we went with Matt's cover. So yeah, you might pick this up and go, oh wow, this looks really cool. I need a morning routine. Let's see what it's about. So we flip it over. The way Karen did the layout for this one, we have your hook up here at the top. We did a couple questions at the beginning, so somebody's going to read this and say, wow, I am stuck. I do feel trapped in this pattern. How do I get out? So then we talk here about how this book helps you. Set your life straight by rewiring your brain for success with this simple 15-minute morning routine. And then we go on to explain it. If somebody read this first paragraph here, they would probably say, oh yeah, this is awesome. Or they would say, yeah, really, it doesn't sound like something I want. I don't want to be wired for success, because I'm sure there are some strange people out there. So we, again, use the reverse pyramid on this one. We have the most important thing at the top, and then we narrowed it down to more detailed but less important stuff. And then here at the bottom, Matt actually talks about this gentleman, Chris Johnson, as being somebody who really made an impact on his life. And he reached out to him and asked him to do the testimonial for the back. So I thought that was a really great get for him because, you know, if somebody is familiar with On Target Living or Chris Johnson, then they'll say, wow, you know, Chris kind of endorses this book, so this would probably be a good one for me. And again, you know, we included Matt's headshot on the back. You don't have to, but I like that he did that because that's, you know, a face connecting with the reader. Whenever you're doing marketing stuff, it's really good to have a face that people are looking at and they're going, oh yeah, this is a real person. So if you feel comfortable doing that, absolutely put your face on there. And then again, we have the clock that we're echoing from the front with the title of the book, First 15. So those are just some great ways to do the back of your book, you know, because that's the second thing people are looking at. They look at the front, they say, cool book, they flip it over and they read a little bit about it and decide if this is for them. And of course, the third part, the intro, people will, you know, if they like that, they'll open it up and they might read a little bit of the intro. So those three things are what people look at when they are looking at your book. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to wrap up. If you have questions about book covers, drop them in the comments. And thank you, oh, Christine, and I don't see who else joined. It's not giving me who else is on here, but thanks for joining me, guys.